Hello, you wonderful health conscious rock star. Today on Bodyholic with D, I'm joined by the brilliant and passionate nutrition and microbiome expert, Ayelet Gourarier. We dive into a critical topic that affects all of us, the food additives and their impact on our gut health and overall well-being. So we really get into concerning realities around emulsifiers and artificial sweeteners and food colorings. And Ayelet shares eye-opening insights backed by extensive research. We explore how these hidden ingredients can wreak havoc on our microbiome, leading to a cascade of health issues. And personally, since talking to Ayelet, I can no longer drink from a takeaway coffee cup. I will bring a glass cup or a stainless steel cup wherever I go. I can't even taste it anymore. It tastes different to me. So you're going to want to listen all the way through because Ayelet discusses practical tips for navigating the grocery aisles and making informed choices to really nourish our bodies. This is a conversation that is a must listen for anyone who cares about optimizing their health and their wellness. Let's get started. Bodyholic with D, your one-stop shop for science-backed well-being breakthroughs. Forget the fads, ditch the myths. We are here to get you on the fast track to feeling and looking fantastic. So get ready to dive deep into the real deal on your health, happiness, and everything in between. Let's go. Once again, Ayelet Gourarier, one of my favorite people to interview and to just talk with, is joining us today on Bodyholic with D. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
I'm super excited, and we're actually going to be diving into a topic that's super hot, but also I'm super concerned about it, and I think everybody else should be as well. So let's get everybody concerned about it. We're going to be discussing food additives, and we're going to be kind of diving into different aspects of it. So, Ed, tell me in general, what is a food additive? What are we even talking about?
Well, actually, food additives, we kind of maybe think it's only in the ultra processed foods or maybe, but it's not. It's actually tiny ingredients that the food industry puts in our food, even in healthy foods. We're going to talk in a minute about where it is and what it does and everything, but it's literally everywhere. And it's the reason the food industry put it there is for their own good, for taste, for texture, for lower calories, for looking good. So we would buy more. So the bottom line is the food industry wants us to buy more. So it doesn't have anything to do with our health. And my field of research, which is the microbiome and the gut health, is really affected by those ingredients. And I think it's more and more getting more and more common knowledge that our gut health is our overall health. And our microbiome, things that hurt the microbiome, this is the end of, for me. If I know something hurts the microbiome, I don't want it. And the reason is because it starts this chain of events, this chain of bad microbiology listing of things that in the end, we have gut issues, we have inflammation that goes through all our body, and it really is very problematic.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna. Sorry.
I even take it really. I always, when I do lectures and I teach clients and groups about it, and I say that the food additives, to me, to my opinion, it is like cigarettes. It's going to have the same process as cigarettes. We thought it's not that bad, or it's just a little, and no one says it's so harmful. But afterward, there would come research data and more information about it. And then someone would say, well, maybe it's not that good, maybe just a little, maybe just a few. And then it will take time. I don't know, for cigarettes, it was like 20, 30 years to the FDA and all the health organization to say this is bad for you. And then it started collapsing. So I believe this is what we're going to see in the next years with food additives, that the information and of how bad it is for us is starting to add up. Some organizations and some companies start to take part of that. So I think we're in the beginning of that revolution of recognizing this is not just, oh, 10 cigarettes may give you cancer, but 2 cigarettes are fine. We now know it's of course that even 2 cigarettes are not good for you. And that's how I explain what I feel the food additive for us.
Okay. I'm going to ask you, as someone I really respect on the subject, something that I'm very concerned about on a completely personal level. Do I have to worry about my coffee drinking?
No, nothing like coffee. Coffee is actually, in research, is quite okay. Like, it's really okay. It doesn't harm your microbiome or your gut health.
It's a 2-part question, but yeah, keep saying about coffee.
Yeah. The only thing that can really, really harm your gut and your health is the microplastic if you're using plastic or paper cups. If you're using glass or like other cups that are reusable, you're fine. Coffee is great.
No, I'm not fine. You just changed my life once again. I always take those. I'm now going to take my Bodyholic mug to the coffee shop, and that's what I'm going to do.
Amazing.
And again, you changed my. Okay, wait. Now it's a 2-part question.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of emulsifiers, and we're going to get to that really soon. But do I need to worry about a cappuccino because it has milk in it?
Well, like dairy milk is fine. Okay. Dairy milk is really, really only about the milk, but we have so many other people who are drinking not dairy milk, but soy milk and almond milk and all those others. And these have emulsifiers and a lot of numbers that we don't want to consume. So, I wanted to say it in the end, but I'll say it now. We don't aim for 100%. Okay. Even in research on humans that's seen that the microbiome can be improved significantly, they didn't went and live in the forest and only ate, what they picked in the forest. Like, we also have to be aware that we live in those days, and we are going to, even if we want or not, we were going to bump in those food additives. But if it's in a small amount, and this is backed by research, even if it's small amounts, it's okay. The microbiome, I always love to say that in the microbiome area in the gut, the good is stronger than the bad. So even if we're having a little emulsifiers in our coffees from once in a while, or we eat out and the salad dressing has emulsifiers or sweeteners or whatever, if it's in the right proportion, about 80% clean and 20% that we're exposed, it's really, really fine. It's okay. Yeah.
So that was like, I was literally just waiting for this conversation because I wanted, and I could have texted you about it, but I wanted to make sure that everybody hears. So first of all,
yeah,
this surprises a lot of people, but I stopped drinking oat milk when I was pregnant the second time. I drank soy milk when I was pregnant the first time, and it killed me. Like by the time I realized that it was that was causing me extreme pain, I just cut it out and I went back to milk, and then I gave birth and I went to oat milk. And again, I didn't put my finger on it. And then it was making me kind of sick when I was pregnant the second time. And then I switched back to regular milk and I was perfectly fine. And since then, I haven't been able to switch back because of the aftertaste. So on that level, you're making me feel great.
Yeah.
And
exactly. Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, now I'm just going to really, really make sure that I go get my coffee in this.
I posted just like a couple of days ago that I always have like a cup with thick glass, like the Bodaholic you have. Not this one. This one's really thin, so it can break. But I just kind of throw it in my bag. Like thick glass, nothing happens. And whenever I go, if I'm in a meeting, if I'm at work, I don't need to worry because I can't, after you read about microplastic, you can't go back and you can't just eat hot, you can drink hot beverage from plastic cups. You can't. So this is a really
And what about cold?
Cold is less the plastic is more okay when it's cold. It's really like melting when it's a hot beverage or a hot food. When it's cold, it's okay. Yeah. It's a warm.
And yet, if I I'll say for myself, okay, but if I need to really make that switch in my brain, I need to go all out. And I just need to stop drinking out of plastic. That's for me personally.
Yeah, I do that. It's a process, but it's really not that hard. I mean, we take our bag to work to everywhere anyway. You also have those mugs that were from how do you say, like metal ones that you can.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, and you can throw them anyway. They're not even gonna break. I just like glass more. Just throw it in your bag and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So it's really a process, but a really, really short one and an easy one. Yeah.
So we're okay with stainless steel?
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Amazing. I know what I'm going to buy today. I'm going to buy some because I had, they kind of get gross after a while because you gotta really get in there and clean.
Yeah.
So I got rid of my recent one, and I'm gonna go buy some more. So we
started with emulsifiers, right?
What did you just say?
We started talking.
Well, actually, I was just going to say we threw the word emulsifiers out there, and so let's get in there. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into emulsifiers. Now, emulsifiers, I think it's kind of a cute name, or it looks like really cute, like something small. It's really not in a big amount in our food, but emulsifiers is something that food industry puts in our food because we want everything to be the same everywhere. So we don't want like our yogurt to have water up level and like the thick, drier form down. We don't want our salad dressing to be two phases. We want everything to be mixed, to have a nice color, to have a nice look. It also, and in just the two examples, but it's also in breads and it's also in healthy foods. It's in so many foods that is really healthy, as if we think of, a good whole wheat bread. So it really is whole wheat, like it's not a lie. But when you put emulsifiers in there, it's really a problem because what it does, emulsifiers is like a strong molecule that has a little chemistry for a sec. Bear with me. Ahead of hydrophobic head and a hydrophilic tail. So it combines the strong molecules combines water and oil together, so you won't have those two phases in your. And you know what else has a hydrophobic head and a hydrophilic tail? Soap. And what does soap do to bacteria? It kills it. It takes it away. So we are actually taking, it's not soap, okay? It's not this, but this is the same action as soap. So we are taking something, it's for our eyes to see. It is not something that adds to our nutrition value. It's just something that food industry put that you would buy it more, you would look more attractive and more pretty for us. You know, when you make salad dressing at home, you put like the oil and the lemon and the whatever, and it's two phases, right? It's always you mix it, and second later, it's not together. So emulsifiers makes it keep together. It's very strong, and when you consume it, when you put it in your body, it doesn't absorb in your intestine, and it goes down and better more and more to your gut to meet your microbiome, and this ruins them. And the thing that it shows when it ruins the microbiome, the microbiome that gets ruined, the good bacteria that is ruined by that, is a bacteria that makes a mucose level that keeps your gut healthy and safe. So it will keeps the bad from what outside to your intestine.
It's the separating lining.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Then you get what you call leaky gut because we don't have the lining that protects our gut cells, and the things that sticks them together is loosen up. So things from inside our intestine that shouldn't come in can get in our body. It should stay outside and go out with the feces. It goes inside. What happens when it goes inside? Our amazing immune system comes and fights it. Our amazing immune system sees, okay, this shouldn't be here, this shouldn't be here. We're fighting, we're fighting, we're fighting. And we consume more emulsifiers, and they're still fighting, and we have leaky gut. So we have more fighting and more fighting. And eventually something is going to crash. If it's going to be an allergy, when our immune system attacks something that it shouldn't, if it's the autoimmune disease, when our immune system attacks something from our body that it shouldn't, if it's cancer, that cancer can slick and go and grow without the immune system noticing because it's so busy fighting in the gut, and more and more and more. So those little things, this is not like my opinion, or there are dozens of research showing that emulsifiers makes the leaky gut, makes inflammation in our body, and we consume it all the time, so it's chronic. And when we have chronic inflammation, sometimes, you add stress, you add less of sleep, you add like bad nutrition, something's going to crash, something is going to fall and have a disease that is permanent. So these are emulsifiers. So
This is this is really interesting. This is like actually, so every time I see the letter E on the back of a package.
Well, actually, food labels will write emulsifiers, or they would say emulsifier type. They wouldn't regularly put an E because, the public can't know E101, E1000. It's too much. So usually, it's not by law, but usually they would say emulsifiers. They would have to mention emulsifiers.
Okay. Mm. But if there is an E, because there are a few, is that what they mean? Is that the E?
Yeah, and E is everywhere. E can be food coloring, E can be emulsifiers. So E is everywhere. So we're going to do a little organic, like understand it. So we have the emulsifiers, all kinds of types, which are bad. We have C80, we have carrageenan that you would see sometimes. We have everything is really, really bad for you. I just want to mention one that is not so bad for us. So there's a little light in the end of the tunnel. There's a little something good, which is lecithin. The food industry knows that this is not the harmful one. The emulsifier that is really, you can find it in egg, for example. It's really like
right. I was going to say, isn't that a protein?
It's in egg, for example. So it's not harmful for the microbiome. So it's not harmful for the gut, as you can see by research, but there's also a but. We don't have ADI for lecithin. ADI is the adequate daily intake. We don't have the number.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to have lecithin in my yogurt, in my bread, in my egg, in my chocolate, I don't know if that's okay. Like the research who checked, okay, lecithin and gut and microbiome, they said, okay, it's not harmful. That's great. That's amazing, actually. And I do consume lecithin, soy lecithin, or other forms of it, but I don't know if I'm consuming too much because there is no information. So again, we're ending up in that point of thinking all those food additives, they're not really clear to me. They're not really I'm not really quiet and says that's for sure okay. That is not okay, probably for us the amounts. And if you think of children, that have smaller bodies, and for them to eat emulsifiers or even lecithin in all those products, I'm sure it's not okay. I don't know. I don't know if we're passing. Maybe we're three times. Maybe we're consuming three times the amount we should. I don't know. So
When
yeah,
when I Google lecithin,
yeah.
I get uh, products like food, like pills,
Yeah.
lecithin pill.
You can have it as pills. You can add it. It's really not has no health
No,
value.
but what I'm saying is that's amazing. That so there are people who are consuming who knows how much and taking pills.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
And we don't know the amount. This is a big problem. Most, vitamins and minerals, we do have the lower limit, we do have the upper limit. It's very organized. So when someone gives you a diet, you can put it like in a program that tells you how much vitamin, how much minerals, how much calories. So you would know this is too much, this is too little. But with all this food additive, it's like in a mystery. It's like a secret. It's like no one talks about it, and no one really open. It's not. No one has opened a book saying, "Here's how much." The food industry by law doesn't have to tell us how much they put in. I don't know how much, even if it's listed. I don't know how much there is in my food. They just write it there. It's a problem. It's a problem, and it's a big problem that goes way, way, up.
So I just want to make sure that we get back to the dangerous ones, even though that was a very big but. So we have the CMC,
Right.
the PS80,
Right, the 81, yeah. Carrageenan.
right, and maltodextrin is also a emulsifier.
Yeah,
Is
but
that
it's
a sweetener?
mostly used as a stabilizer. How do you say that? Like stabilizers.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's also not good. It's also not, but when you read labels, they would tell you emulsifiers. They wouldn't write CMC 80 because it sounds bad.
It does sound good.
It sounds bad.
Okay, now I see what you meant when you were like, emulsifiers sound cute. I was like, I don't know if it sounds cute to me, but when you think about it, as opposed to polysorbate 80,
Yeah.
then it sounds cuter.
It sounds cuter. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And one more thing. So when I think about leaky gut, you're teaching me something really important here because I think of someone really obese. That's like the first thing I'm thinking of. So it doesn't even matter like what is going on. That's the thing I'm considering. And basically what you just taught me was that it's not part of the metabolic diseases. It actually we're destroying the microbiome and the mucus, that the lining that is the barrier between the microbiome and the rest of the body. Am I correct?
Yeah.
That is the issue. And so it doesn't matter what your weight is. And so, okay, wow. That is actually really, that's,
I wanna say what you I wanna address what you said, because listen, obese people, like you said, what do they usually eat? They eat junk and ultra processed foods. And junk and ultra processed foods has a lot of emulsifiers, and not lots of them, like the worst kinds. So obese people, I don't know like the numbers, but I would guess 90% of them have leaky gut, like 100%, yes. But the leaky gut comes from our nutrition and from our habits. So it's not always depends on our weight. So you can be really skinny, and also, brings us to our next topic of artificial sweeteners. You can be thin, you can be on a diet, and you can have leaky gut, and you can see that, um, allergies and autoimmune diseases are not always comes from people who are overweight. Mm-hmm. You can be totally skinny, or so it's really it's what you said is right, that most people who are obese are consuming this a lot, so that's why they have leaky gut, which is 100% true. But it doesn't mean that everyone who has leaky gut is obese, because it depends on what you have.
Right. And that's what kind of changed in my mind. And then also understanding that the mechanics of leaky gut, it has nothing to do with calories in, calories out, and fat consumption.
No, it has nothing to do with calories. And there was a research that I was now remembering with people with Crohn disease, which is of course the disease in the gut, and the gut is very inflamed. They told him, just don't touch emulsifiers. They said, continue eating whatever you want, like just don't touch emulsifiers. And it really helped them. So whenever people, want my advice or want to be my client, and I say, listen, no matter what happens, like if we're going to continue or not, stay. If they have bloated, or, everything in the gut feel very tired, and, the brain fog, all those symptoms of a body who is tired. And people say that among themselves. They say, I'm too tired for what I should be. And something is wrong. Something is happening. People say that about themselves. And I said, let's stop those food additives, and let's start with emulsifiers. And people come back to me and says, it really helped. Well, it didn't, it's not a healing that healed everything 100%, but you feel the change. You feel the shift. You feel better. You just feel better when you get rid of those.
Amazing. I keep, we want to move on to sweeteners, but I also I'm a little freaked out, because if it's in everything, basically I should just be eating vegetables, lentils, nothing processed, which can suck for some people.
Well, this is the thing. I just wanted to put it in the end, like, what do we do? But I can tell right now. We have amazing products that the industry who makes them is more aware. And all we have to do is look at the list of ingredients. I don't want you to look at the box. Don't judge a book by its cover. I don't want you to look at the advertisement. I don't want you to look at the calories, protein, fat. I don't mind about that. I want you to look at the list of ingredients. And you should only have there things that you recognize. Only thing, like if we're talking about just cheese, okay, just like cream cheese, like 5% cheese, just like the nice ones. You should have milk, maybe water, salt. That's about it. You're not supposed to have emulsifiers or food white coloring or preservatives. And it's so funny, in Israel, when you go to the refrigerators, you can go just for a check. They're right next to each other. So all you have to do is just once invest the time of looking at those products and choosing the ones without them, without the E numbers, and you have everything. This is what I really want to have. You have cheese, you have bread, you have processed food, which is fine. You can even find children's snacks, right? That is okay. You have the worst ones, and you have some who said, "Oh, there's no emulsifiers, there's no sweeteners, there's no food coloring. okay, it's a snack. It's going to have a little fat. It's going to have calories, but I don't care. It's a snack. So I'm fine with this.
Right.
So, you can really, really find everything. I even have amazing mustard that I found without anything, just like the little um, taste and yeah, not even the seeds, the cream, but how do you say like tavlinim? I forgot the word.
Uh, um, also the spices.
Spices. So I found an amazing mustard that only it's in a paste, not in the little round things. That only have amazing flowers. It has nothing. It doesn't have, preservatives, numbers, nothing. It's amazing and it really tastes good.
All
So
right. You'll send that to me soon.
you can really find everything. I promise you. If you're
Amazing.
trying to find something, just let me know. I have pictures in my phone. I send everybody. This is the
Oh, I'm
mustard.
sure. Yes.
So
We already had that over kombucha when I was pregnant.
right, exactly.
Um, so okay, this emulsifier thing was just like so interesting that I couldn't move forward, but now I think I'm ready. And let's get into artificial sweeteners, which is a huge problem. Mostly, like I have family members that don't take a single sip without putting sweet and low in first. And I'm like, but it's 2024 and we know a little bit more. And yet, so I guess it's still an issue.
It's such a huge issue. You're so right. And let me say like my thing, my opinion with sweeteners. I want my clients and for everyone to respect your body and don't lie to him. If you have a sweet taste in your tongue, your whole body is getting ready to absorb sugar, with glucose or fructose or whatever. Don't lie to it. Don't lie to him. Don't make all those detours to nothing because um, if you want sugar all the time, everything you drink has to be sweet. Everything you want is sweet, sweet, sweet. That is the problem. Making everything like low calorie but still sweet, sweet, sweet. It's not gonna. It doesn't never help anyone. Not with losing weight, not with feeling better. Mostly an emotional problem. You need to take care of that. If you want to have a dessert, enjoy it. Have a piece of cake. Have a line of chocolate. It's not that much of calories. It's not that much of fat. Enjoy it and have fun. It is so important for our body and soul to be happy together. So when I hear, there's always new, the new artificial sweetener. This is not artificial, it's from the plant, and
Right.
this is from that. And I say, listen, if it's sweet on your tongue and it's lower in calories, it's bad for you. This is what I know, because the same thing as emulsifier, it doesn't absorb. It's not like glucose, so it doesn't absorb in your intestine. It continues and continues because it doesn't absorb because it's not really sugar, and it goes to your guts. And in your gut, it meets the microbiome, and it's not fiber. It's not really something that the microbiome understands. So it ruins something. Sometimes, kill the bacteria or make it lose like the connection between them, make it looser. Doesn't matter. Research show that artificial sweeteners, all the types there is, are bad for the microbiome. And again, this is the end for me. If I know something's bad for the microbiome, it's out. But if we continue to understand it, so if we ruin our microbiome, we're ruining the gut lining. And if we're ruining the gut lining and make it thinner, then viruses and bad things that we eat, sometimes we eat a salad that has bad bacteria in it. If we have strong microbiome, we have a strong gut lining, nothing will happen. But if we don't, it can touch our own gut cells and ruin them. Or it can go inside, and then the immune system has to attack it. And then we have it all over again. The immune system, leaky gut, immune system that are working over time, all the time, fighting those things that come from the leaky gut. And when you have the immune system, you have chronic inflammation. And we know chronic inflammation is level one to all newest diseases that we know today.
Right.
So artificial sweeteners is a big no for me. I don't think I have anything in my house that has artificial sweeteners for years. I do heard of and checked for a talk about a coconut sweetener. Okay. It's really new. I always get sent, oh, but this is okay. You know, everyone knows that I really not propose. So they send me the new stuff to check. I really didn't see that the coconut sugar hurts the microbiome or the gut, but it's really, really new. I don't really know. I recommend honey, maple, even sugar, you know, bake a cake,
Better than that.
you know, and have a piece of cake. And if you want to eat the whole cake, sugar is not your problem. You need to check your emotional state or your mindset. Or so again, sugar is being blamed, I feel, too much for other problems. It's not the sugar, you know, because if you eat a
Right.
piece of cake who's made at home, it's not even that much calories.
It's actually like you're saying the emotional state. Actually, it could be so many things. Like you have to really map it out. Yeah, sure. It's simplifying when you say it's sugar. Like really utterly simplifying something that is so complex, and you being so complex as a human being. Um, I also the artificial sweeteners, if I'm not mistaken, are extremely sweet, right? Way more than sugar. So, does it make you like it probably because we become regulated to sweetness and to whatever taste it is? So, if you tend to have aspartame, which I think is few hundred times more sweeter than sugar, then sugar won't be sweet enough for you.
Sugar, I'll tell you that sugar will be under taste, but it could be tasty enough. But the ironic, and you know, this is so ironic thing, is when you take artificial sweeteners for the long run, not just once in a month, okay? But most people are addicted to artificial sweetener and they take it all day, every day. So when you do it chronically like this, you actually ruin the gut bacteria that is in charge of lowering your glucose in your blood and your insulin from your pancreas. So actually in the long run, you are avoiding sugar, but actually research show that people who consume artificial sweetener has a higher blood glucose level in their blood, which is so ironically you're not consuming the sugar, but you still your body won't able to absorb it normally.
Oh my God.
Yes, and it's backed by research. Many research have shown that. And
We're going to link this research. This is research that we absolutely have to link
sure.
underneath the episode. That's so disturbing because now that I'm thinking about it, I've heard people say, "How is it possible that I have high sugar?"
Only eating
Wow.
artificial sweeteners. I'm not even a tiny drop of sugar, and I have high sugar because for chronically, you know, I assume you don't consume artificial sweeteners. So I mean, if you're gonna take I don't know, Diet Coke right now, this is not going to happen for you, right? But if someone consumes it chronically,
Right.
it ruins the bacteria that are in charge of lowering your blood glucose. So you're actually doing the opposite of what you want to do.
I'm so passionate about what you're talking about. I'm just feeling like enraged that Diet Coke exists. And it's amazing to me also because, you probably feel the same way where you've lived in this world of, awareness, heightened awareness. And so when you see someone drinking a Coke or a Diet Coke or a whatever, um, it kind of like doesn't make sense for you, does it?
I don't understand it.
I don't get it.
I don't.
I don't get it. And hopefully, like when we spread the word and we get the research out there, I hope like that our listeners also like just won't get it, don't
I
understand.
really hope. I really hope. I've had so many people come up to me and say, "But I can't give up the Diet Coke or the zero.
Right.
I'm addicted." They always say, "I'm addicted to it." I said, "Well, do you think it's funny or a good thing that you're addicted to something?"
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's not funny.
It's like you just said the problem. That is, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and when I see some colleagues of me or dietitians, not microbiome dietitians. I must say that the dietitians who work with microbiome or the research of microbiome really know what's going on, and they don't eat nothing of those. But when I see other like colleagues, it's really difficult to me not to say anything. I don't hold it myself.
100%. Oh my God, but you're reminding, I don't know if we talked about this, um, but I was working for this sports nutritionist. We're not going to mention any names.
Sure.
And basically, I was one of his trainers. I don't know, 8 years ago, 10, I can't remember. And then I started attending his classes, which I then like could not stand it because all he cared about was calories. And that was it. He was like, I don't care what you eat, it's all about calories. You should be eating any one of those like low calorie snacks that like, yeah. And so that was the end of our relationship. But I just stopped working for him because I professionally couldn't be associated. And yeah, he's going strong though. He's going strong and he's spreading his word. So
People want to lose weight. They don't want to
right.
be healthy. And I see in my clinic when people do the shift from losing weight to really being healthy and feeling good, it's not working. The calories counting is not okay. And if you don't feel good with all those processed foods, even if it has a 99 calories and it has so much protein, it's not it. It's not working. So when people want to be healthy, this is the answer.
Amazing. Amazing. Like I'm just noting everything for myself now. And okay, so we talked about emulsifiers, we've talked about the fake sugar, the
Right. Artificial sweeteners.
artificial sweeteners. And do you want to say something about food coloring?
I do. I just reminded of something that I really wanted to say. I point my finger, I blame us consumers. I don't blame the industry.
Really?
Makes what we buy. If we wouldn't buy the things, it wouldn't be there. Okay. There is a great example that like a couple, like maybe 5 or 10 years ago, there was the uh sodium and salt, and everyone didn't want to have salt. And so the industry made cheese with no salt, with zero sodium, okay, which is what an amazing product because everything has sodium in it, basically. And you would say, wow, amazing. But no one bought it. No one bought it. It was disgusting. Okay?
It was gross.
Yeah. Didn't taste good, but they made it for us for consume, but no one bought it, so it's out of the shelves. So if we would shift our money, our buying into products and say, listen, we want to have those a little processed food because we can't be at our kitchen for 3 hours a day and make everything from scratch. We do want to use your products, but we want them without the E numbers and without the artificial sweeteners and without the emulsifiers. And we would pick those products, these would have more from the industry. The industry will make more because this is what we want. So I get
love that you said this because I don't blame the consumer. And I love what's happening right now because I completely and entirely blame the industry. And I love that you're giving the other outlook on it because I think that we are so gullible as just people. I think packaging is so important, and I think these giants, these are beyond giants. These companies that create,
you're right.
they're enormous, and what they can pour into packaging research and packaging itself, and it's just like you said, people don't want to see the yogurt separated.
Right.
It's and the commercials, and then there's the play on the taste bud, I think, where people kind of want more, like the Pringles. I feel like everybody can't. I feel like if someone buys a sleeve of Pringles, they're not going to have one. It's designed so that you will not have one. Just like the people who came up to you and said, I can't stop this, I'm addicted. So it's like, do we blame the drug dealer or the person shooting it into his veins? I don't know.
I'll tell you what I think. You're 100% right. The advertising and the world that we live in, it is very, very, it makes us, buy and consume and buy more and things. But if we educate, I really see it in my clinic almost every day. When you educate the people, it breaks the pattern because they say, I'm not gonna look at judge the book by its cover. I'm gonna look at the list of ingredients. I don't want to look about the calories. I don't care about the fat anymore. I just want to see the E numbers and the things. Because when you have a clean 80% of your diet clean of those things, you would be less in the need of something sweet, of something snacky, of something.
Right.
It's a circle that you can easily break. And another thing that I just want to point out is that you have to remember that we do have those products. Like if all the products in our supermarkets would be worse, would be bad, you were right. It's like, give us something. The industry would be to blame. But they do give us options, and some companies are better than others. And if you just shift our buying to those companies, they would be better and make more of that. It's like when you point out the good stuff, it gets bigger, and all sorts of things in life. So in this also, when you put your money in something valuable and something better, it will show. So every trip to a super can make a little change.
So okay, this is fantastic. I as a public health professional, this is my education. This is why I do what I do. The education system, right? Because it's not specifically the school system. It's way beyond. It's everybody's education.
Definitely.
Is biased towards where the money is because it's the government. And the other thing is when there's something called food deserts. And so food desert, that's a big thing in the States. And we also have it here in the Middle East, in certain places. There's not a lot of choice in very, very, very extremely religious areas. There's not a lot of choice, and very low socioeconomic areas. But actually, the religious areas are more in a food desert. So what happens in the state, and this is something that's really everywhere, is that you can live in a place where an apple, okay, is so far away from you. There's no way you're going to go buy an apple, and all you have is the 7-Eleven, where I don't know what you can get. Maybe they have an apple, but it's going to be a pretty expensive apple, and you're going to end up going for something that is cheaper because it's also a lower socioeconomic area. So yes, education is huge. Not everybody has access to it. What if someone was so brilliant in like one of these massive companies, even like a Walmart store, what if the actual companies who are creating all these foods what if they started educating?
That would be amazing. But
That would be amazing.
That would be 100% amazing. But it's also complicated because it should always be together, because if ours we as people think that snacks and pizza is cool and salad is disgusting, or oh my god, you're I'm not this doesn't taste good, then even with all the education that everyone can put in our faces, but we think that only chocolate is cool and crackers and all that, it wouldn't help. So it's always have to be together, the education from health professionals and the industry. And most of the time, we're never on the same page most of the time.
Ayelet,
Yeah.
we are out of time again. This is how we roll. This is why I love when we talk. We are out of time because for me, I couldn't put a clock on anything because it is so fascinating. It is so fascinating. So here's what I'm thinking. Again, this has happened to us before. I'm thinking that I would love it if you said something about food coloring.
Okay.
And then we would have to immediately schedule a continuation of this conversation.
Okay, sure, of course. Okay, so food coloring. I know we think food coloring and we instantly think of like children's food and candy and stuff like that, but actually food coloring is in a lot of places, even in bread. I've seen really healthy breads that has whole wheat bread, which is really whole wheat, like it's not a lie, but they put food coloring in it. You have in creams, you have it in really, really a lot of things. And there's a lot of bad history with food coloring. It comes from oil, it comes from that. There's lawsuits all the time. There is now new huge lawsuit from a lawyer that blames the sues Skittles for all the food coloring, that says that those food colorings are not fit for human to consume. There is a lot of research with children hyperactivity with food coloring.
Oh my God.
And it's on our labels. In Israel, it even comes to our packaging. I can show you pictures that in the back, in the list of ingredients, I'm not talking about the calories or the protein, I'm talking about a list of ingredients. You would see food coloring and you would see a warning. I can show you the picture, and it says the warning, this food coloring may cause your children to be hyperactivity. This is on your bag of things, and people still continue to buy it. This makes me, this is maybe I've said.
And they put the kids on medication.
Yeah, and it's in front of you. If you just look, you would see you're giving your child something that has the warning that this thing infects his brain and his ability to concentrate and to study and be with ADHD. It's on your package, so it's so extremely important to just look on the ingredients. And a lot of allergies and food coloring. There's a little story with cancer. It's really, really sad. I always say it's a little funny, but actually it's really sad. There was a research with rats that gave, I think it was red coloring, that gave red coloring to rats, and it showed that they had cancer. So the FDA made this food coloring illegal. But then people say, wait, they gave those rats 2 times the amount. It's too high. It's not really the amount that people consume. So you can't say that this food coloring makes cancer because it's too much of the amount. So the FDA made it legal again. And again, we're back to the cigarettes. Like, okay, 20 cigarettes makes you cancer, but two, I can't say that about two. So I guess 2 cigarettes a day is fine. I don't want it, even if 20 makes you cancer. I don't want even two. I don't want even a little. And it's the same thing with cigarettes. If if they would give the rats 2 times or 3 times tomatoes, why would they give it 2 times or 3 times almonds or even bread? They would gain weight, I would guess, but they wouldn't have cancer. So,
That's a good point.
so to me, I'm done. When my children go to the pool or to
Yeah, let's talk about.
I tell them, listen, take the most expensive chocolatey creamy ice cream. Just don't take the one with food coloring. This is how I want them to avoid that. I don't think I have any food coloring in my house. I do have snacks. I do have chocolate. But seriously, food coloring just shows me, the research shows, backs up that it goes to the child's brain and messes it up in any way. And if we were in the situation today that we have a warning in our package of the snack, of the candy, I don't want it even in smaller amounts. I don't want it at all. Um, and so food coloring also shows ruins your gut microbiome, ruins the gut lining, makes your leaky gut. And again, all those storms of inflammation is right there happening again with the food coloring. Because when you eat, let's say, blue food color, you don't test your blood and the blood is blue, right? It doesn't go in your body. It goes downer and downer to your gut, to your microbiome. It's a chemical. It's not something you eat. It's not from nature. So it ruins the microbiome in a really big way.
I'm looking at we're going to link the research as well on this.
Sure.
This is so disturbing, so upsetting.
Disturbing.
And the fact that the FDA came around and, they just kind of go with whatever. What if the food coloring is beetroot?
Amazing. If I see something, there is, in Israel you have like cheese, like yellow cheese, like cheese for that melts.
Yeah.
Okay. Not cream cheese, but harder.
Right. Yeah.
And there's 2 ones on the same shelves. One had preservatives and emulsifiers and yellow food coloring, and the other one have a natural food coloring like the beets you said from carrots. It's called beta carotene.
Okay.
Oh, it's next to each other. If we wanna not consume emulsifiers or food coloring, it's right there in front of us. We just need to see and look and choose it just once. And then we know this is the label we want. This is the one without food coloring, and this is what I'm getting.
Yeah. And like yellow can be turmeric. And I mean, there's so many, there's so many cool options for food coloring.
Yeah.
That are not
like beets, like you said, like strawberries, like blueberries. They're really amazing, amazing thing. But it's more expensive. Yeah. It's much easier to make tons of it in a lab and put in your food because the FDA says, well, I can't tell you it makes you cancer. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Not proven.
Okay, so we have a startup. The startup is that these food giants start getting in on the education. That would actually be amazing. And then like on the packages, everything should be super clear. You know how we have the red and green Post-its on everything.
Yeah.
That can also be misleading, but that's a good place to start. Like the rest of the world needs to do that too.
this is, we can expand on on our next conversation, but this is a really, really good start because it said it's right in the front. It's red when you can see it. You can't put a green. This is like health industry says this is bad for you. This is good for you. This is amazing. And it actually, I have a problem where maybe we're going to cut this out and we're going to do more about it next conversation. But the thing that the industry does is it doesn't want the red label of sugar. So what does it put instead? What do they put instead of sugar? So they don't have the red sticker on it.
Fruit.
They put artificial sweeteners.
Oh no! See, I didn't even go there in my brain. I went to a much better place.
In crazy, crazy amounts. And I've actually written to the health ministry here a really big letter, tell them all the problems with the microbiome and all the artificial sweeteners. And they also replied, and we had a Zoom meeting. It was very, very exciting. And I told them, you're trying to do something really, really good. I think it's amazing. No one looks at the packaging. You see the red dots. This is amazing. But they're finding their detour to another cheap thing that hurts our people even more. So they asked me what I thought they should do. I thought they should have another red sticker that says high artificial ingredients.
Yeah.
Or chemicals. I would even say chemicals because they're chemicals.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think it's a great answer. There, nothing is coming off it right now, but I wish we would have so people would see, okay, it has no sugar, but it has a lot of fake chemical ingredients in there. I don't want to give my children that cookie. I don't want that.
When is your next meeting with them?
I don't. There's only once, and this is what my idea. My idea, and I wish we would be the first ones to show the red neck sticker for the fourth.
It should even be a different color to like make it even more pronounced.
Sure. Like, but I think I told them if you're only concerning the sugar, you're missing out the artificial sweeteners who are worse. You're missing out.
Amazing. Amazingly horrible. I mean, thank you so much. So basically, this was part one of food additives and the microbiome with Ayelet Goalie, who is brilliant and caring. It's really, I think, your passion that gets me every time. And because you really, really care. And therefore, you are so knowledgeable.
Thank you. I do. I want my kids to grow up in a better and healthier place. All our children.
I'm gonna have a whole conversation with my 5-year-old today about Skittles, because she loves them, and like we keep having conversations about it. Every time we go to the store, I'm like, and I say the same thing. I'm like, here's an amazing piece of chocolate. Exactly.
That's what I say. You're doing great.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited for our next discussion.
Sure. Me too.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.